Good evening. It's evening. Tuesday evening, actually. Um, I got my bandsaw blades today. I got these ones, which are 1/4 inch, 6 teeth per inch, maybe. I don't know. Looks like it. Nice blades. I got 4 of these because you go through more smaller ones. And I got 2 of these 1/2 inch ones that are 3 teeth per inch. So you use these for resawing, okay? Because the new bandsaw will resaw. So I got those. They're 80 inches long. You know, that's the design I'm working on. It's got 12-inch wheels. There are a couple of solid advantages to making bandsaw with 12-inch wheels. It's bigger than 10-inch, obviously, but it's not as big as 14. Math wizard. The good thing about that is that if you have your typical floor standing drill press, depth, typically that has a throat depth of, or capacity of around little over 6 inches. Mine has 6.5. So you can use that to drill the holes in the center rather than trying to rig up some kind of thing to hold it. All right. So that's good. I was doing some work on the design. I've been doing like it off and on. Whenever I get a chance or when I feel like it, I open up the SketchUp file and I do a little bit more. I got a good idea today for a tensioner, an interesting tensioner. I was actually watching another video and the guy was using a bandsaw and he was like, the bandsaw had this different kind of tensioner on it. So I decided I could probably make that work with the new one. It'll be interesting. I'm not going to talk about it. That's a industrial secret for now, okay? That's a need to know basis, all right? You don't need to know that yet. You'll find out when the thing comes out. So what else did I order for it? I ordered a motor. Actually, I went to look for a motor online. Princess Auto here in Canada sells them fairly cheap. So I figured a 1/2 horsepower one, but it's a good size 1/2 horsepower. Like it was drawing around 7 amps. So that tells me that's a good size 1/2 horsepower motor. Got some power there, right? And then like the order went through. I had a couple other things too. But then they emailed me a couple days later and said it was out of stock. So that sucks. Or they said it was out of stock and they just sent the rest of my order, which was the pulleys, a 3-inch and a 6-inch, and also the bearings for 5/8 inch shaft, okay? Because everything's going to be 5/8. And that just made me think, because the pulley, the 3-inch pulley that I ordered has a 1/2 inch hole. And now the motor, because I'm going to take it from I'm going to take the old one apart. I know there'll be people saying, why don't you put it up for auction or try to sell it or anything like that? You know, I don't want to do that because that, there are other parts in there that I can use. Okay, there's all kinds of stuff that I can reuse there, including the motor, which was $200 because I think I bought it new. It was more than $200. It might have been 250. See, I don't mind buying stuff for tools when I know that it's going to be good. You understand? I'm not going scrounging around looking for a 1 horsepower motor. Well, I have before, but I mean, I'm getting a good tool out of it, so I don't mind spending that $250. You're not going to get a bandsaw that size for $250 unless it's used, right? So, and then you're going to have a mountain of work to do with it. So yeah, I'm going to take the motor from that, take a few other parts from it as well. I've got all all the work I did on the top wheel to redo that, the big bearings that are up there. I'm going to reuse them for some other machine, probably that sander I was talking about. So it's all going to go to, it'll all be for the good, it won't go to waste. The frame was all just free stuff anyway. Like you can go look at the article that I wrote about it. Has something like over 80 pictures there. The frame, the post of it is a door post called a mullion that you find in like in a school, the thing between two doors, right? That post. And the rest of the metal for the frame was a trellis. Back at the house I had before this, that was all rusty and covered with paint. I cleaned it up, I cut it to size, and I used it there. And then the sheet metal were pieces of door, hollow metal door that I have, that I was getting. You know, when you get a door, not a house door, okay? A door in a school, a door in a commercial building, one of those big steel doors. The skin on those is like 18 or 16 gauge steel, usually 16 gauge. So good heavy steel, but it was all free, right? The only thing I spent money on basically was the bearings for it, the cold rolled steel for the shafts, because I didn't buy real shaft, and the motor and blades, of course, and then whatever I spent on it after, you know, all the wiring stuff, the switch, everything I already had. So, you know, I'm not out much, and I got 10 years of use out of it almost, right? But the thing is, I'm going to get more use out of this smaller saw because the way I'm designing it is going to be more convenient to use. First of all, it's going to be higher. Like the table is going to be up here because the whole thing, I think, is going to be 40 inches tall. So, yeah, that tall, and it'll be on a stand. And the stand won't be as high as this thing. Right? That stand will probably be around 24 inches tall. And the table will be up this high, where it's comfortable to use a bandsaw. Not like that. You're all stooped over. That's great for resawing. That's the reason why I built it. Because I really didn't need a bandsaw at the time, you know? I wasn't actually using a bandsaw. So, yeah, the motor comes out of that. I'm going to reuse that. Apparently, I've got a pulley coming that's got a 1/2 inch hole for a 1/2 horsepower motor with a 1/2 inch shaft. So I might have a 3-inch pulley here, though. Right? Link belt. I changed that a few years ago. That's in there. So, yeah, there's going to be, like, lots of that's going to be reused. So, I'll probably make a video, make it an exclusive video, taking that apart and swearing at it. You know, having some sort of sense of humor eruptions. The one thing I'm kind of stuck on with the new design is what I could make the wheels from. The wheels in this are made from 5/8 2 layers of 5/8 inch melamine, except this has a rim. Hang on, I'll just open it up quickly and you can see that. Yeah, it's kind of blurry in the background there, but those wheels are perfect, actually. Melamine makes perfect wheels. I started making one before with MDF. MDF would probably be just as good. I tried plywood for other things before that need to be balanced. Plywood is harder to balance because the interior structure of it, the density varies all over the place. It's not as uniform as these products. The other thing about those wheels over there, you notice that they don't have the typical inner tube on there. I changed that, I don't know, 3 years ago, 4 years ago maybe, and put silicone. Same thing I did on that bandsaw mill I did. Put silicone on the wheels, and that's holding up great. It's not deteriorated one bit, so that's another feature on the new one. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna get a sheet of I swore that I would never buy it again, but it is the best stuff for that. I think, either that or MDF, but then I probably have more of a use for melamine than I do for MDF. Melamine has that nice white surface, so if I have half a sheet left over, or more than half a sheet anyway, I can bring it out to take pictures on, you know, of the stuff I'm making, which is always a challenge. Right now I have a piece of white flashing over there that I bring out and put it on a piece of plywood on one of the garbage buckets out there beside the shop.
I'm Dr. Pinchot. I'm going to make sure you're treated well here.
Is this the shop?
This is the shop.